Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Well, fall has arrived in Indianapolis, at least maybe for a day or two. I looked at the weather, and like Wednesday and Thursday and next week, it's going to be full sun and 86 and 87. And so that is after the pool closes, which means that I won't be able to have 87-degree days by the pool, but that's okay. We still have a couple nice summer days ahead of us, but today is chilly. And it was funny because I tweeted out last night. I said, it's cold tonight, and then I put, what should I watch next? Because I finished, was that the last night or the night before? It was last night, because I finished Devil in Ohio yesterday. And so a lot of people commented, and they're like, 60 is cold, 60 degrees is cold. And what's funny about that is, I was just talking about this the other day with the Uber driver that I was having this conversation with, that, if it was in March or April, no, we wouldn't think that 60 is cold. We would think that 60 was like nice weather. But last night it got kind of cold, and I was sitting out here and I was watching TV on my iPad. And I stayed up rather late last night. I stayed up till like 4 o'clock in the morning and watching a show, which I'll talk about in a second. But I ended up having, and I told Alex, I said, I think I'm gonna have to take off my sandals and put on my Ugg boots because I'm cold. So I wrapped myself in my winter Ugg coat, and that I sat out here last winter in, and kind of practiced how I'm gonna vlog out here with it being cold. I'll put on some sweatpants and my winter coat, and we'll make it through fall and winter, vlogging on the front porch. Even if it's snowing, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it. Maybe a couple vlogs inside by the fireplace and stuff like that. But anyway, the thing is, by the fireplace, it's so dark. I know it probably doesn't matter and you guys don't care. And that, like, our house is so dark because we don't have a lot of windows. And so, if I set up the ring light, I feel like the ring light kind of takes away from the ambiance of the vlog, because the vlog is just me sitting here talking, right? And so if I set up a ring light, it seems like a very planned, contrived video, and I don't want to do that. If I sit in front of the fireplace, I just want, or candles or whatever, and just drink coffee, like, I just want to do that. So I don't know, we'll figure it out. But sitting outside last night, I was like, I can do this. Like, I can do this for a half an hour or 45 minutes and sit out here, especially at like 5 or 6 in the evening, unless it's 30 below and we're having blizzard conditions, and then I'll just do it inside. So yeah, so last night, it wasn't super cold. Like, I could have sat out here in like a hoodie or a t-shirt. I think this is Alex. Oh, it is. It's my husband. I could have sat out here in like a hoodie and shorts and my sandals and whatever, but I put on my Ugg boots. I have my shorts on still. And I put on my coat, and I was like warm and toasty, and I drank a cup of tea with honey in it. I drank the orange, is it called like Madagascar tea or something like that? It was good. So after brunch yesterday, and then after vlogging, Alex was watching shows or TikToks or something. He was watching Midnight Mass and finishing that. So I was like, well, I might as well finish my show. So I watched the last 2 episodes of Devil in Ohio, and it was really good, you guys. Like, I thought the first 2 episodes were kind of cheesy. Look but don't look at my hair, because my hair looks bad. But I thought the first 2 episodes were kind of cheesy, and then I like really got hooked, and I really got hooked on the characters and the storyline. It even ends kind of creepy, and with the possibility of another season, which I didn't think that was going to be the case. I thought it was going to be like a limited series, but there's a possibility for that. It ends like on a note where there could be another season. So I have my pumpkin cream cold brew right here, which I'm going to shake up and drink a little bit of. I've had it for like 4 hours now. So Sarah came and picked me up for my CAT scan today, and so on the way we stopped at Starbucks. She didn't get anything though, so I got a pumpkin cream cold brew. And on the way home, she took me to Crumble Cookies to get my crumble cookies which was so nice that she was willing to do this for my review. And then I got her a little lemon sugar cookie. That was all she wanted. So anyway, so I finished Devil in the... I keep wanting to say Devil in the City because there's that book, Devil in the White City. which we read for our True Crime Book Club. And I don't even know if I finished that book because I hated it so much. But anyway, I know a lot of people love it. I think it's by Eric Larson, maybe. So finished that, and then like I laid down and I rested. I did a lot of napping yesterday and just kind of hanging out. And I didn't know what to watch next because I was like, okay, should I start this Last Light with Matthew Fox? I really wanted to watch Manifest, but then when I looked into Manifest on Netflix, a couple people had said that they really liked the first 2 seasons, but they hated the 3rd season, and then the 4th season comes out in November. So I was like, well, if I watch it, then I'm prepared for the November season. What's the other show that's coming out at the end of September? I can't remember what it is that I watch. My phone's inside, so I can't look, but there was another show that I watched and got caught up on. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And the new season is coming out. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, something good that I watched. So, that I'm excited about. What was it that I watched? I feel like it was something Caroline and I both watched because we talked about it. So anyway, I looked at Manifest, which I had started like 3 years ago. First of all, I looked and I was halfway through the 3rd episode. It like showed me like where I still was from, it wasn't 3 years ago, it was like 2 years ago. I started watching when we were in Florida. And then each season is like 16 plus episodes long. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to take me forever. But I kind of looked through my list of things I wanted to watch. And I was like, well, it is what it is. So I started watching Manifest last night, and I watched the first 4 episodes and like 30 seconds of the 5th episode. It is so good, you guys. I am so hooked. It is so cheesy and corny, but like I really like it. And of course I am cheesy and corny, so I like it. But it's like one of those shows. It really reminds me of Lost and La Brea. Like if you kind of like those like sci-fi shows, but that aren't like deeply sci-fi. That's the show that's coming back in September. Why did I couldn't remember until I said it. La Brea. But those are like the shows that I like that are like sci-fi, but like not deeply sci-fi. It's like the Blake Crouch books. It's like you don't have to be super scientific to like watch them. Hey! It's raining and you're walking. Well, you have your shoes on at least. I did. My neighbor walks the dog in the morning, like at 5 o'clock. I'll sometimes be sitting out here watching my iPad, and I just gotta chill. He'll be like, it is like, first of all, it is really good chilly weather. Like tonight would be great to have like chili. Oh, maybe I'll see if Alex wants to take me up to I haven't had Skyline chili in forever, but. Oh, or you know what would be so good tonight? Would be Yats. He's not going to want to drive over to Yats, though. Yats would be so delicious. Yats is this place that has, like, jambalaya and red beans and rice. And I used to, before I was a vegetarian, I got this drunken chicken. And they make it in, like, crock pots. And they have, like, they're very earthy and beatnik. And there's, like, 3 or 4... places in Indianapolis, and I think there's one in Bloomington on the IU campus, maybe. But anyway, there's like 4 or 5 of them in Indiana, and they're locally owned. And they have, because they're very earthy, they have like 3 like vegan options at any given time. And then they also make it with, you get a side of like French toast that is like heavily garlic buttered, and it's so delicious, and I always get extra garlic bread. And then they outsource these pies, and so they have like peanut butter pie and like buttercream pie. I mean, they are unbelievable. And it's so good, and they're always playing like jazz music when you go in there. They're just like in little strip malls, but they're really cute, and I love it. I think I actually either did a review or I did a video, like a mukbang, of me like eating it one time because it's so fantastic. So if you live in Indianapolis and you've never tried Yats before, find one and go in there, trust me. And this is the other thing for like, so it comes in like, you know, like those, the white styrofoam containers. So like one whole half of it is like the drunken chicken, or like there was one called Alex's favorite because Alex would always get it. And it's like all like, you know, like, what's the word I'm looking, like Creole food. And so it's like one half of it is that, and then I mean you get a big portion, and then the other half is like the bread. And I think if I get like the regular stuff with bread and extra bread and a drink, it comes to like $8 or $12. Like, it's super cheap. And you are so full when you are done. So anyway, yeah, I may either that or chili. I'm really hungry, but he's probably not going to want to go anywhere because he's worked all day long. So anyway, my neighbor, like in the mornings, he will walk the dog, like, I think I was like vlogging the other day when he like walked, but he walks the dog like one way all the way around in the morning, and then they go back to bed, but he always walks him barefoot, which I think is so funny. But anyway, and then he gets up at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning and he takes him to the park. And then he comes home and he lets the dog like out in the backyard, and like the dog just is like on the patio for like an hour. And anyway, he barks a lot, but he's a really good dog. He's very sweet. I love our neighbors. We're so lucky. So anyway, so I started watching Manifest last night, and I got 4 episodes in, and I was absolutely hooked. Like, I couldn't believe I was as hooked as I was. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Lost. Like, if you like Lost, watch Manifest and give yourself an opportunity to get into it. That will be the other thing I would say. If you don't know what it's about, I'll just give you the first, like, this happens in the first 5 minutes. I know people are like, whatever, so if you read the synopsis, it's whatever. A plane leaves from Jamaica in 2013, and it lands in 2018, and like they don't know where they've been and all that missing time. So it's kind of like the story that unfolds after that. And but it's really, really good. So there's like this mystery and intrigue, and then there's all this stuff that happens around it. It's really good. So that's the show that I'm watching. But I have to tell you guys, do a little updated report. I'm very proud of myself. I sat out here last night for like a half an hour or so. I listened to my audiobook, the Simone St. James book. And then today, when I was waiting for Sarah, I sat out here on the front porch, and for like another 10 minutes, I listened to my audiobook. So I'm really proud of myself because I'm like easing myself back into reading again. And I don't know if she watches the vlogs anymore, but I want to give a shout out to Nikki. Nikki is part of the True Crime Book Club, and she and I like message each other back and forth sometimes on Twitter and stuff like that. And she and I were talking, and she was so helpful with like me being like stuck in this kind of like book rut. And you know, I before was somebody that like when people would say like, oh, I'm in a reading slump, that was like, there's a lot of like YouTube, booktube videos about being in reading slumps, and I just was like, I never related to that because I never would just stop reading. Like, I just loved it so much, right, that I just would never stop reading. So when people would talk about it, I'd always be like, I think like a reading slump is just the ability to find a really good book or your whatever, because that would happen to me sometimes, which would be where I would like read a really great book and then the next book would suck so bad that I'd kind of like be really slow in it. But I never really felt like a reading slump like I'm experiencing now. And like when I talk to my friends about it and stuff that read, which is very few, but they'll be like, well, like what's the issue with like, you know, okay, my battery died and I had to go inside and get another battery. And I was talking about being in a reading slump or whatever, and I don't know. I was talking about back in the day, like, I pulled you guys in a little bit closer too. I was talking about, like, struggling with, like, believing in reading slumps back in the day. And, you know, that I, like, walked inside, I, like, checked my video, I, like, yelled up to Alex and whatever. So now I'm kind of like, no, what was I talking about? I was talking about reading slumps, and I was talking about, like, back in the day, like, it wasn't that I didn't believe in them, it was that I hadn't experienced them, you know? And so when people would say like, oh, I'm in a big reading slump, it would happen to me every once in a while, like I was saying, where I would, you know, like I would read a book that was really great, and then I would read one that wasn't really that impressive, or I just couldn't get into, and that, you know, it's whatever. And then I'd just be kind of like, that book would take me a little bit longer to get through, but then the next book would be really good. I feel like in the past, like one of the things that, like I feel blessed for as far as reading is that I've been blessed to read a lot of really great books, honestly. Like, I don't really read a lot of books, and I very rarely DNF a book, which is where you do not finish it, but I feel very blessed that, like, I read a lot of 4 and 5 books out of 5s. Like, I don't read a lot of 2s and 1s. I mean, that occasionally, and I try to finish them, but very rarely does that happen, so I don't know. I'm happy that I am starting to put some effort into the things that I like really enjoy, you know, again, and that I'm reading again, because I don't know, I just like sitting here last night, and I think that was the other thing, like last night sitting here, I was like, okay, like you've been telling yourself for so long that like, okay, if you could start walking, you know, then you could listen to your audiobook while you're walking, because it's so difficult for you just to sit here and listen to it. But like, I wasn't on my phone last night. I wasn't like doing diamond puzzles or words with friends or, you know, anything like that. I was just sitting here listening to it, and I just was kind of like this. I mean, it was dark at night, and I enjoyed it. Like, I really liked it, you know? But I wanted to watch my show. So I stopped it and watched my show. But I'm very happy that I am starting to listen to audiobooks again. Yeah, so. And thank you guys so much for the support. You know, thank you so much for the people out there that you know, have been just so sweet about, you know, saying, oh, you'll fall in love with it again, or, you know, you'll come out of this and whatever. So yeah, so that was last night, and then I fell asleep rather quickly last night. I was kind of holding on to Boo Radley when I fell asleep. Fell asleep quickly last night, and then got up today. Took little Boo Radley out. Oh, that was what happened. So I came downstairs, and it was like really like just like dreary, like leaves are falling on the ground, and I don't know if you guys can see, but it's like gray weather and it's raining. When I first came out here to vlog, it was like starting, I just said that, and it started to rain again. But it was like raining out here pretty hard. Like I was sitting here and it was like hitting my feet, and the what do you call it, TV table, TV tray that you guys were on, and it's really a table that I bought from Walmart years ago, but sound of the rain is so peaceful and sweet, isn't it? So I took Boo Radley out, and like as soon as we walked outside, I was like, brrr, like it is cold out here. I mean, it's not like freezing, but I think today's temperature is like 64 degrees. Like it's not warm at all. I was kind of surprised. And so I was going to wear shorts to my CAT scan today, but I ended up wearing these pants that I got. These are like the grayish blue pants that I was talking about. I'm like between sizes and t-shirts, and so like this is a 2XL, which is what I used to wear, and this is that, oh shoot, now I can't remember the brand, from Target. It starts with a Goodfellow brand. I love these t-shirts because they have like pockets and whatever, but like the extra large fits me really well, but the 2XL now is like super, super baggy on me. And a lot of my t-shirts are like that, like the Ralph Lauren t-shirt. Somebody said, oh, another Ralph Lauren t-shirt yesterday. It was the same t-shirt. But like, I have like I have like some of the really colorful ones, and those kind of like blouse out on me. But like the bright blue one and the navy blue one, I can wear with like jeans and like go out to dinner and stuff like that. I'm actually thinking about buying like 2 or 3 more of those. I think they might be on sale because it's at the summer's end. But I gotta look and see what sizes those are, because I know I bought like one in 2XL and one in XL. I want to buy them in XL because the XL fits me better. But I have to also look at the fit, because they have like classic fit and tight fit and vintage fit and all this kind of stuff. Vintage fit means tight. Classic fit will fit me. But anyway, like I was in the basement and I was looking through all my clean clothes, because I have like all my folded clothes in the basement, and I was looking through them, like, because they're all about around the washer and dryer, and it's like all of my t-shirts. I have like so many black t-shirts from Target. I mean, like that's literally all I wear. And I was like, all of them are like blousy and huge, and I've lost this weight and kept it off, that I was like, okay, you need to go buy some new t-shirts. Like you need to buy some new t-shirts that you can start wearing out to, like, because this is good for like sitting around watching TV and stuff like that. You can't really tell in the video, but like this is good for like sitting around watching TV or whatever. But as far as like going out to dinner or whatever, like it's super big on me. And So anyway, I was thinking about that. What was making me think about that? Oh, so anyway, I was gonna wear a hoodie, but I ended up just wearing pants and a t-shirt, and then got ready, and then Sarah came and picked me up, and like I said, we went to Starbucks on the way, because I was wanting to get a pumpkin cream cold brew. Since I don't get to get out that much, like any chance that I have to go through Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or something like that, I do, because I love it. So we went through, she was sweet enough to pull me through, she was sweet to pull me through Starbucks, and got the coffee. She didn't get anything. She had a bottle of water with her, like her container or jug of water, and so she just wanted that. And then we just like talked and laughed on the way, and then we went to my CAT scan, and it's at this place that I always go, and the people there know me, and they're so nice, and the woman that checks me in knows me. She's like not as friendly as the woman that does the CAT scan. Like the woman that came and got me for the CAT scan, she was so friendly, and she was like, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, "Good." And so she was asking me about the update, and I was telling her about like the neurosurgery appointment and what he had said about the CAT scans, and she's like, "Oh, that's really exciting," and about traveling and stuff. And so she's like, "So maybe like the next time that I see you, you'll have gone on a trip." And I go, "Well, I don't know about all that, but we'll see." And she was really sweet, and I was asking her about, like, because the scanner broke last week when I was supposed to come in there, and so she was like, "Yeah," she was like, "It's an older scanner, and every once in a while it breaks." And so anyway, she was telling me that her and her husband love Gulf Shores, Mississippi. She was telling me, she's like, "If you want a fun place to go, there's Gulf Shore, Mississippi." I didn't even say anything about liking to go to casinos, and she's like, "You're real close to the casinos, the beaches are beautiful." So she was telling me about Gulf Shores, Mississippi. But anyway, so yeah, she was super sweet. Sarah, like a water bottle, she'd had a water bottle in her passenger seat, and like her dog had been like in the car because she'd taken her dog to the vet this morning, and so like I think she said the water bottle like busted open or something like that, and like there was no like water in the seat, but the seat was wet, and I didn't know that until I got out of the seat, like at the place, and I stand up and I'm like, "My butt is wet." And she goes, "It is." And I go, "Was there water?" And she goes, "Well," she's like, "I think that like, you know, my dog like opened this bottle of water by accident, but there wasn't much water that got on it." And so I go, "Does my butt look wet?" She goes, "Yeah, just a little bit." I was like, "Sarah," she was like, "Nobody's gonna care." So anyway, so I told the woman at the CAT scan, I said, I was telling her about the story, and she goes, "Oh, that's a good story." I said, "Oh my God." She was real sweet. And then on the way home, Sarah and I kind of took the long way home. We were talking about like Market District, this grocery store. We drove by there, and I was telling her about like the Christmas decorations that they have that are really pretty there. And then she was telling me about the difference between annuals and perennials, and that annuals only come up once, and that perennials come up every year, and that she was mad because she had been looking for them the other way around to plant them, and that she felt like if they were called annuals, they should come up every year, which makes sense, I guess. And I was like, "Are you sure you have that right?" And she's like, "Yes, I went to Lowe's, and Lowe's told me," and all this kind of stuff. So it was funny. But anyway, so then she took me by Crumble Cookies, and I got my Crumble Cookies for this week to review, and I did that review, and I actually just posted that review before I started vlogging, and I also posted my Peterisms video. And then she brought me home, and there's this little squirrel. He is so cute. He like runs all over these different yards, and he'll like come right up here, and then he goes. He's so funny, and I'm always like, "Hello, Mr. Squirrel." He goes, when I say that. He's so cute. He's like, he's in the neighbors across the street. He's like by their tree, and he's chewing on something. I don't know. "Hello, Mr. Squirrel." He just stopped. Anyway, and then Alex just got home from work, and we haven't talked anything about dinner tonight, so I don't know what we're gonna do for dinner. And oh, I was talking to Tanya earlier tonight. We didn't talk about whether or not we're gonna go to the meeting or not tomorrow. And then yeah, make videos tomorrow. I already kind of know what I'm gonna do for my videos. I know what I'm going to review, and I know what I'm going to do my drama video about, and then my vlog. The thing is, I have to make sure that I get up early enough to get this stuff done if I'm going to go to the meeting in time to get either an Uber here or Alex to come pick me up. Although I don't think that Alex is going out to dinner tomorrow night. Like, the only times that I have to take an Uber over there is like if Alex is going out to dinner because he can't take me over. But usually, he's more than willing to take me over to Tanya's house, so. The other thing that sounds good is going to Whole Foods on their deli, and they have broccoli cheddar soup, and they also have jalapeno cornbread. Not always, but sometimes. Oh my god, that is like perfect fall food. Like, I'm really craving fall food, even though I have 2 pieces of that Jets pizza left. Just 2 pizzas, that's all I have. So I'll probably watch a little bit of Manifest tonight, but I'm gonna have to like really suit up out here. I'm gonna have to like, because it's going to be cold. It's going to be like in the 50s, maybe even in the 40s tonight. So I'm going to have to put on some sweatpants and my Ugg boots. But don't think I won't, okay? Or I'll sit inside in the chair with my AirPods in. I mean, I do that sometimes. But I like sitting out here. It's nice to rock, and then I don't have to wear my AirPods. I've been like thinking about getting another pair of AirPods because, oh, there's Mr. Squirrel again. Hello, Mr. Squirrel. He's so sweet. He wants to be friends with Boo Radley, I think, is the truth of the nature all day long. I've been thinking about getting a new pair of AirPods. Are they coming out with a new design? Like, is there like AirPod Pro Plus 5 or something like that? Because if that's the case, I'll just wait. But the reason I got, so I have the original AirPods, and the reason that I got the ones that I have now are because they have the noise cancellation, and so when we would fly, I didn't like Eric, that's Tanya's husband, Alex, that's my husband, he always brings the big headphones. He loves big headphones. He wears the AirPods from time to time, but I got him a pair a couple years ago, but he really likes big headphones that are noise canceling, and I have those too. I have Sony ones, but I thought, the AirPods are just easier to carry and all that kind of stuff, so I like AirPods better. But if you have the original AirPods and you've ever been on a plane, you cannot hear like a TV show on like an iPad or like an audiobook. Like, you just can't hear it. Like, this background sound is horrible. So they came out with the AirPods Plus, and they're noise canceling. And I remember asking this friend of mine, this guy that I know, and I was like, do they really work that well? He's like, oh yeah, you just like push a button, and he was like, or push this thing, and it's like, they cancel out all background noise. I won't say I think they're that fantastic, but they're good. They're good enough that you can watch like a show on the plane and whatever, and the background noise. You sometimes have to kind of mess with them a little bit to get them, you know, to work, but they're good enough. But mine now, and I find this to be true of any Apple product, whether it's a phone or whether, and I feel like my brother-in-law told us this years ago, like, I keep my computer charged, like charging like almost 24 hours a day, and I know you're not supposed to do that, but like I find that with like anything, like whether it's like my iPad or my AirPods or my phone or the computer, that like after a period of time, like it doesn't hold a charge anymore. And so with my AirPods, even though like I rarely use them, like really the only time I use them is if I can't sleep and I come downstairs and like I'll watch like a drag pageant or something while I'm eating some food, like I'll listen to them. Like, I will have not used them for like 2 or 3 days and have charged them, and I will open them and they'll say 80% charged. And so like they're not holding charge anymore. So I thought about getting another pair, but I really don't want to get another pair of the same pair, if that makes sense. But the other thing is that if they're not charging fully, to go on a trip or to go anywhere, if you're going to use them for 3 or 4 hours, like they time out after a certain point. Like, I've had them where they'll go and they start dying. So it's like, you want to make sure that your AirPods are holding your charge, because if not, like, you're not going to be able to effectively fully use them the way that you want to, you know? I don't know. It's probably easier back in the day before we even had wireless headphones, don't you think? I think so. Stupid complaint of mine anyway. I should be happy that I even have them. I do love them though. Like, a lot of people are like, are they really worth it? I'm like, oh, they're so worth it. Now, I don't know about like, the brands that you get at like Target or Walmart or whatever that are like, you know, knockoff brands that are cheaper. I don't know how good those are, but I love the AirPods. I love just like, and they stay in my ears, like when I used to work out and whatever, those days. When I used to like run on a treadmill or whatever and I would wear them, like they stayed in my ears, like they really did. So, I would do the stair stepper the few times that I did. I was thinking to myself today would be the perfect day to pick these weeds because it's wet, you know, but it's cold. Nobody wants to pick weeds when it's cold outside. Like I could really have my coat on right now. If truth be told, it's kind of cold outside. I need a hot coffee, not a cold coffee. Well, I don't need any more coffee, really. I need a tea. I've been drinking so much tea, and actually last night I was sitting down here, and I've really, really been enjoying tea. And I think this winter and fall, I'm going to really use that like water kettle that I have. You guys know what I'm talking about? A lot of people in the UK use it, in Australia. It's like an electric water kettle. Like I had never heard of it till last year. Do you guys remember I bought one and I reviewed it? And I love it. I absolutely love it, but I rarely use it. Well, I've been buying more like loose leaf and bag tea because I want to use it. Like I bought that Lapsang Souchong tea or whatever. That was like my favorite when I was a kid. And I have it, and I haven't like used it, I don't think yet. And so I was like, I'm gonna start using that kettle a lot, right? Like in the fall and winter. And it does have caffeine in it. And but last night I was thinking, like when I get rid of this, because I have like a lot of Diet Coke in there. Well, oh, this was why. Last night I had like a Diet Coke. But I was thinking to myself, like I rarely drink this Diet Coke anymore. And I think I had one of Alex's Cokes the other night when I ordered the pizza. I had like a Coke, like a real Coke. Because sometimes with pizza or like Chinese food or Mexican food, like I like a Coke. And so I had a Coke. But like I have probably 12 or 15 Diet Cokes in there that I haven't, like, that are just sitting in the fridge. And I was like, you know, when I finish those Diet Cokes, I don't know that I'm going to get more. And, like, maybe I should really try, or maybe I will try to really limit my caffeine intake, because when I did it before, it was really, really difficult to do, but I did feel better. Like, I slept a lot better, I felt a lot better, I was a lot more clear-headed. And so I was like, you know, you're already just drinking, like, a lot of water and then herbal tea, so why don't you just go to like trying to like not drink caffeine for, I mean, because I'm not going to Starbucks like every day where it's like, you know, I have to have the pumpkin spice or pumpkin cream cold brew. Like I could go through Starbucks and get like, you know, an herb tea or like caffeine free something refresher if they have those or whatever. It's not like I have to have this, you know. And I used to be such a coffee drinker, and I'm just like, I kind of go through waves. Like, I feel like on here I talk about it. Oh, well, this is the thing. So last week at our meeting, our home group meeting, I had like missed having like a cup of coffee because I don't always get a cup of coffee at that meeting anymore. So I missed getting a cup of coffee, so I like went into the kitchen before the meeting started, and I got a cup of coffee, and I really enjoyed it. Like through the meeting, you know, it was really fun to sit there with like, you know, styrofoam cup of coffee, because that was like back in the day. I loved meeting coffee. That cup of coffee meant so much to me, like back in the day when I first got sober, because I don't know, it's just something about, like I've talked about this on here a lot, like sitting in a meeting and, you know, I got sober in the winter, and so it was so cold, and I think that has part of it to do with it, that I would go to a meeting and somebody would have this pot of coffee there, and I would like have this warm cup of coffee, and it made me feel so homey. It made me feel connected to these people again, and we would stand around and talk with cups of coffee afterwards, you know, and there was a connectiveness, and I felt like I was home, you know, and coffee made me feel like I was home. And at home, at my apartment, you know, my dad had bought me this new coffee maker, and so I would make a pot of coffee, you know, in the morning and at night, and it was a way for me, like I lit candles, and I became very like cognizant of like keeping my apartment clean and making my bed, and those things were important to me, and so it's kind of similar to that, like when I go to a meeting today and I have like a cup of coffee, and I don't always, because like sometimes, you know, like we'll go in and we'll just sit down, and I don't get up and get a cup of coffee because I just want to be, you know, present during the meeting. But we got there early, and so we got there just like I had a couple minutes, so I went in and I got a cup of coffee before they were starting, and like I was like, God, I kind of forget how much like I love hot coffee. I don't drink hot coffee that much anymore. I really don't. Like every once in a while, like I'll make a cup of hot coffee here in the Keurig, and I have tons of the K-Cups left. I have K-Cups from last Christmas that I ordered for Christmas time specifically, and I probably will again this year, because I loved that white Santa coffee from Barney's, but it kind of tasted like a holiday blend or whatever, but I don't know. I'm really loving hot tea. I don't love how I'm feeling when I'm super jazzed up on caffeine, you know? And I don't know, maybe it's, I just don't feel like I can drink as much caffeine as I used to be able to drink, so I don't know. The kitchen life's been on for a long time. Maybe I should go check in with my husband, see what he's doing, and see what if we're gonna do anything for dinner tonight. And I'm gonna go start getting my vlog up, so I'm gonna get off here now. Thank you guys for hanging out on the front porch with me. We're gonna make it through the fall, we're gonna make it through the winter, we're gonna make it through summer again, so, and spring too. So anyway, thank you for hanging out on the front porch with me. This has been fun. I love you guys so much, and I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Monday and a wonderful beginning to your week. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Remember these 3 very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. And 3, most importantly, I forgot. 3, most importantly, remember to reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. And also, be kind to one another, love one another a little bit more, and most importantly, be kind and love yourself a little bit. Be kind to yourself and love yourself a little bit more. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. And for those that need to hear it, and those that want to hear it, and those that just happen to stick around, one more, I love you. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Happy birthday, Lena. Love ya.